Hey everyone, so it's been about a couple of weeks since I've finished the case mod of my Mrs. PC and I fixed the problems up, and I was going to talk about this in that video, but during the edit I realized that I had 8 minutes worth of me talking about this. So I decided, you know what, let's just do a separate video on it, because the case mod video eventually became more about the problems. So all the problems came from the Thermaltake parts. They were all new, all brand new parts, and okay, they weren't the biggest issues. There were still issues nonetheless. And before I get too much further, I do want to say that the customer service I got from Thermaltake Australia and New Zealand was really good. There was only a couple of things that I questioned why, but overall customer service wise, it was great. The things I questioned was just more troubleshooting process. But let's get to the problems. Firstly, I had a 120mm fan not spin. It would light up, but it wouldn't turn. So the fix was pretty simple and needed a new fan. I contacted them about all the problems I had. It was a month of emails going backwards and forwards, just trying to get everything all sorted. And for the fan, I just had to show that it wasn't spinning. It was connected to a fan header, and I explained that I had tried different fan headers, including fan headers that I knew worked with other fans, and even that I tried this particular fan on a fan header with no splitter at all, and it just still wouldn't work. So they sent a new fan, and that works. That was the easiest fix. The next two are going to be easy fixes as well. In fact, there's only 2 issues left. It was harder to find those easier fixes. So let's get to them. I had 2 lighting issues. One was with the CPU block and all of the 120mm fans. They're all daisy chains together and connected to the motherboard. And the other was with the front 2 200mm fans. So the first one of the CPU block and 120mm fans was, I would select a color in the Gigabyte software on RGB Fusion 2.0. I'll select a color in that and I'll get a different color. So to achieve the purple beforehand was, I had to select in the software yellow, orange, yellowy orange, whatever you wanted to call it. But I selected a completely different color. In the month of emails to Thermaltake Australia and New Zealand, they told me that this was actually the first time that they've heard about this issue. And they said they're going to contact their headquarters in, I think, Taiwan. Don't hold me to it. And their headquarters had nothing either. They hadn't witnessed this problem. So Thermaltake came back to me and went, well, we don't know what it is. It's not our software. Is it a fault with the motherboard? Is it a fault with the software? We say our product works with it, but hey, contact Gigabyte. And well, that never happened. I believe I found a fix. And I found it by trying to fix the second lighting issue. I was getting video footage to send to Thermaltake about the issue, the second issue. I was playing around in the software and I realized that there was a button called Calibrate. So I clicked that and I thought I already done a calibration process, but maybe I somehow did this fairly simple process wrong, or I shouldn't have done it. But once I did it this time, trying to fix a different issue, it fixed the CPU block and all 5 120mm fans. They're all connected to the same digital RGB header on the motherboard, because all of a sudden they went to the yellow, orange, yellowy, orange, whatever you want to call it. They went to the color that was selected in the software. Do make sure that your product is calibrated right. And I emailed Thermaltake my findings going, hey, this is what I have done. I thought I already had done it, but maybe I shouldn't have. But here's my findings. Maybe this can help someone else out in the future. I didn't get any confirmation of, hey, thank you for that, we will actually jot that down. But yeah, click that calibrate button if things aren't going right. Again, I know it's not their software, it's Gigabyte software, so I'm not expecting Thermaltake to know the ins and outs of the software. To me, that was just a basic troubleshooting step of, have you calibrated our fans and CPU block? Have you calibrated them? Like, a fairly simple process. There's not even a technical or software really thing. That's just asking a simple question of, have you done this? So yeah, that was a bit confusing. And again, I don't expect them to know the ins and outs of the software, but basic troubleshooting when you state on the boxes that your product works with the software might be helpful. Now to the last problem, and the second lighting issue, they're the same thing, was I couldn't get the front fans to connect to the software I couldn't control the front fan's lighting through the software. I could do it through the hardware button. So yeah, it wasn't, again, like all the issues, they weren't the biggest thing, but this one was frustrating because I couldn't get the same purple as you could with the software control. Like, couldn't select the right purple that my girlfriend wanted. So that was frustrating, and that was part of my thing to them of, you guys go to shows and you have builds all pretty, and you have it all matchy as well, all the colors. Like, you don't have one thing set to hardware and another thing set to software. And well, it's lighting up and it's not the biggest thing. It's not breaking the computer. It's not stopping it from working. It's still an issue, like what's going on here? So they asked me to send photos. So that's what I did. I sent them photos, and as previously stated, I sent video too. And they didn't ask me anything other than, can you send us these photos? Give us some information. Again, that's what I've done. And they sent me a new fan controller. They told me that this fan controller that they were sending had been tested for both hardware and software, and I believe them. They sent it just in a normal Ziploc bag. So this is a PCB component that's sent in a normal Ziploc bag, and when I got it, the fans would spin, but they would not light up with either software or hardware. So I asked them, is it a problem with the front fans? And they said I would need to make a RMA, a warranty claim. But they asked me if I had tried switching from hardware mode to software mode and vice versa by holding down the RGB button for 3 seconds. And I hadn't. I didn't know I had to do that at the point in time. So I tried that. That sentence of, have you done this, to change it from hardware to software caught my attention. So I again changed the fan controller and I changed it back to the original, and the hardware lighting worked straight away. And I held the button for 3 seconds and it went to software control, and I was like, thank God, hallelujah, I can control these lights. So I was quite happy about that, but I didn't get why this 3-second thing wasn't asked at the start. Like, it would have saved them a bit of money, quite clearly. Not much if they went to the effort of testing a new controller and sending it out to me, like, in all fairness. But it would have saved them money just asking the question of, hey, have you tried this? After all of this, I found the manual. I first checked it online and I found it online, this bit, but I also got the paper manual and found it there too, where it states that you need to hold the button down. And I did read the manual before building and after building, because one, I wanted to know how everything fitted, and after building, I wanted to see what I was doing wrong for getting these lights to not light up. And there's this whole main section, and it gives you all this information. It's this little pretty, like, I wouldn't say diagram thing, but they've got ovalish shapes, and inside it, it says what mode it is for the hardware and things you can do, like push it this many times and you'll get it to this color kind of thing, and you push it more and you've changed mode, and nowhere in that does it states to hold the button for 3 seconds. It's the footnote, and there's nothing beforehand going, hey, you need to read this footnote. It's all going, here's the information you need, and then the footnotes, side notes, this is how you change it from hardware control to software control. And I don't get why you put that in the footnote. When I first found it, I scrolled into it on my Surface because I was looking for it. So a little bit frustrating that that wasn't the first thing asked, that there is basic troubleshooting for their product on something that is their product. There was no software issue at all. It was my mistake of not realizing that footnotes are important. So yes, that was confusing. Again, I do want to state that the customer service I got from Thermaltake was really good. The troubleshooting steps could have been better on 2 of the things I found. But yes, that's all I have for you. Thank you, Thermaltake, for helping me through the month trying to get all this working. So I want to hear from you guys, like, if you've had a hardware issue with a product, whether it be new or used, how was the troubleshooting process for you when you contacted the company? Like, did you contact the company? Were they helpful? Were they nice and polite? Was the customer service good? All that stuff. Like, did you have a good experience with your issue? And more importantly, did you get it solved? This is the end of the video. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, it'd be awesome. If you want to see more content by me, hit that subscribe button. I've got links to social media pages down below. I need to be more active on them. I am working on that. I am finishing the final lighting for my system, and once I've got that done, put that on social media before I show it on YouTube. It might even be like a couple of weeks before it's shown on YouTube. So I am working on this being good at social media thing. But yes, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That's all I have for you. I'm repeating myself at the moment, but I don't care. Yeah. See ya.